We begin with breaking news at 11. We have learned the names of the 4 people killed in a street racing crash on the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley last night. These pictures just in. The coroner's office says 21-year-old Valentino Ramos and 20-year-old Ariana Luna died. Luna's family says she was 7 months pregnant.
We don't have pictures yet of the other 2 victims, but the coroner's office says they are 21-year-old Polo Najera Perez and 21-year-old Rafael Ramirez Espinoza. The CHP is looking for the drivers of 2 other vehicles possibly involved. One car is described as a late model dark Honda Civic, the other a Mazda hatchback.
Some lives are so vivid, it's difficult to imagine them ended.
May God bless John McCain. May God bless this country he served so well.
Past presidents, family, and friends honor a war hero turned American statesman, John McCain. The funeral for the Arizona senator matched those of a head of state.
As CBS 2's Nancy Cordes shows us, John McCain was honored for being both an American patriot and a political maverick to the very end.
With faith in Jesus Christ, we receive the body of our brother John for burial.
Several generations of U.S. leaders from both sides of the aisle gave John Sidney McCain III the kind of send-off reserved for American heroes.
When my father got sick, and I asked him what he wanted me to do with this eulogy, he said, "Show them how tough you are." That is what love meant to John McCain.
Oh, Daddy boy, I love you so. The 6th-term Arizona senator and father of 7 had wanted this service to send a message about unity. So he asked the 2 men who beat him in his bids for the White House to eulogize him today.
After all, what better way to get a last laugh than to make George and I say nice things about him to a national audience?
The attendees saw some of their words as a rebuke of the current president.
John detested the abuse of power, could not abide bigots and swaggering despots.
He understood that if we get in the habit of bending the truth to suit political expediency or party orthodoxy, our democracy will not work.
President Trump famously mocked McCain's 5 years in a Vietnamese cell.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
Today, as his daughter looked on, McCain's daughter settled the score.
We gather here to mourn the passing of American greatness. The real thing, not cheap rhetoric from men who will never come near the sacrifice he gave so willingly, nor the opportunistic appropriation of those who lived lives of comfort and privilege while he suffered and served. The America of John McCain has no need to be made great again because America was always great.
What began as a week of tributes to a public servant evolved into a cry for more honesty and collaboration. On Sunday, the McCain family bids farewell for good in a private burial service at the U.S. Naval Academy. Nancy Cordes, Washington.
Senator McCain will be buried next to his best friend.
People here in Southern California were touched by today's funeral. They were moved by the pride and patriotism from delis in downtown to homes across the Southland. People turned on TVs to honor and remember.
When he stood up and said no to the health bill, that's what endeared him for the rest of my life.
There were no sides of the aisle this morning, and he reminded us of how it could be.
And a sweet moment caught during McCain's memorial is going viral. Cameras caught former President George W. Bush sneaking what is seen as a mint or a candy to former First Lady Michelle Obama.
I wonder what kind of candy it was. President Trump was not invited to the funeral. Instead, the president spent the day golfing at his club in Sterling, Virginia. He also posted a series of tweets about all sorts of topics ranging from the Russia investigation to NAFTA negotiations.
A teenage boy is dead after his motorized bike collided with a car in South LA.
The crash happened on West 91st Street and South Broadway. CBS 2's Jeff Nguyen spoke with the victim's family about their loss.
I tried to tell him to stay off the mini bikes, but he was, riding behind our back, me and his mother back, and we didn't know.
Myron McFrazier is talking about his 17-year-old son, Jalen McFrazier, who died after his motorized bike seen on this tow truck collided with a car. It happened as Rody Martinez and his family were holding a yard sale.
We were just all right here hanging out, and then we just heard somebody got hit, and it was my friend over there.
Police say a 13-year-old boy was sitting near the handlebar while McFrazier was behind at the controls when they were hit. The passenger was taken to the hospital with a broken leg. Jennifer Valdivino says she ran from her house to help McFrazier, who's a longtime friend.
That's when I seen his body, and then I was trying to feel the pulse, but there was nothing.
Police say the car's driver stopped after the collision and no charges will be filed. In the meantime, neighbors say motorized bikes are common around here. Neighbors say Jalen McFrazier was a well-liked young man who did well in school. This family is planning to hold a car wash to help with their friend's funeral expenses.
He was a great person. I knew him long, so it's devastating to lose somebody like that.
I'm gonna miss everything about my boy. Just miss everything, man.
Jeff Nguyen, CBS 2 News.
Sky 2 was over a wild chase in the valley tonight. Suddenly, the driver pulled over and ran off near the Bob Hope Airport. Police were pursuing the silver SUV because it was stolen. At one point, the driver tried to scale a fence, but couldn't. That's coming up in a second. The suspect surrendered once he couldn't scale it, and another man was also arrested.
A gut-wrenching experience for a Santa Clarita family. A mother was told that her 27-year-old son was dead, only to find out it was all a mistake. But she still has no idea where he is. Angela Winters has been trying to find her son Adam since June. That's when he went missing from a halfway house. He suffers with a mental illness. But then a call came from the LA County coroner saying that her son had been found burned to death in Lancaster.
I was horrified. I was very horrified. I was terrified that something like that had happened to my son, and I was consumed at his last moments and what they must have been like.
Turns out the coroner made a mistake, misidentified the body, and then apologized. Winter is grateful it wasn't her son, but since he's still missing, she is frantic to find him.
Dramatic video coming up.
I'm back there!
Where you at?
I'm right here!
Police officers scramble to save a woman from a burning home.
Plus, a bishop apologizing to singer Ariana Grande, what he's accused of doing during Aretha Franklin's funeral.
I'm Greg Mills in San Pedro. Fleet Week and the cast of SEAL Team from CBS. Special guest today here on this destroyer. The USS Dewey will take you along for the ride.
Cooler temperatures moving in just in time for the holiday. Details coming up.
And after this newscast, stay with CBS 2 for a special show celebrating Stephanie's Day. It's an annual event that connects families of kids with autism and special needs to life-changing resources. That's tonight at 11:30.